Welcome back to Albus Explain. This is part 2 of the Preamble series. Here I talk about the word sovereign. Now, the word sovereign is a very cool word because it means that the the rule of the rule is self, which means, let me explain. Let's go to China, for example. China has a way of dealing with its neighbors. It is called the salami treaty. Now, salami means it's a grinded meat tube, and it is sliced very thinly. So what happens is, we do not want war with any of our neighbors, but that is not the case with China. What China does is, it will go to its borders and push it a little, and then push it a little to the point it faces resistance. When it faces resistance, it will stop there, and then they will make that the new normal. When it becomes the new normal, they will start pushing it again. So this is the thin slicing of that salami, which eventually ends up slicing the whole salami. But that is what the Chinese government does to all its neighbors. All its neighbors, even Russia is not let off the hook, let's call it that. So China does that. Now, how does that factor into our sovereignty? The sovereignty of India, like recently, a clash between India and China happened at Galwan Valley, and now that place is in the middle of nowhere. Ladakh's population is extremely low, and the people do not. The Galwan Valley is not habitable. The lake that is at the Galwan Valley, near the Galwan Valley, it is a saltwater lake, and it has very little fauna or flora to speak about. Okay, it is in the middle of nowhere. Like I said, it's an extremely dangerous terrain. And still, for a piece of land not very big and not very useful as such, was fought, and Indian soldiers died for it. Now, why did that happen? Because if it if the signal goes to the world that the land of India is up for grabs and India will not retaliate, then what signal does that send to the whole world? It means that India is not sovereign anymore. The other thing that sovereignty factors into is, we do not need permission of anyone else to deal with our internal matters. Now, the thing that is conscientious about this against the sovereignty of India is the membership of UN. For example, if a resolution is passed in the UN, for example, a Kyoto Protocol or something like that, it's passed in the UN, is that enforceable in India? No. Whatever the treaty is signed, it also has to be passed in the legislation of India, and only then it can be enforced. It even membership of Commonwealth, and that does not take away the sovereignty of India. For example, the decision to move into the Commonwealth or United Nations or WHO or WTO is a sovereign decision. So it does not it does not it does not attack the sovereignty of India. So, but the thing is, when this salami treatment is given to other countries and no one takes notice of it, this has happened in the past. During World War II, just before World War II, Germany did this with its neighbor Czech Republic, and eventually even to Slovakia, the country we now know as Czechoslovakia, and that was completely overtaken by the German forces, and no European neighbor of either Germany, Czech or Slovakia did anything, because at that time that seemed very small to start a war with Germany, to start a war with a powerful country like Germany, and that had stopped so many people from saying anything against Germany, and that is how Germany got away with it. And because it got away with it, it got its impetus to start a war with each and every of its neighbors, and that resulted in World War II and the death of so many millions. So the sovereignty is not just uh, a show of muscles. It is not just a show of muscles. It is more like it is a primary defense. It is a primary defense against wars. So yeah, thank you.